My experience in a private international school. Recently, I had the opportunity to work 3 weeks as a student teacher in an international school. I'm still learning English and want to achieve C1 level. That's why I not only do this video in English for practice, but also decided to start a subject expansion. For this reason, I'm going to tell you how to build self-confidence while speaking English as second language and all about the international school in which I learned that teaching and learning can be different. Speaking English. My first day at the international school was amazing. I met the whole school as well as started to teach the kids. During teaching, I already knew when explaining that some of the vocabulary is missing and that I didn't know all the terms. Nevertheless, the day was incredibly enriching. The children were helpful and curious. They gave me a feedback for my future process. It was similar to what I thought myself I should improve. International school. Learning by enthusiasm. The school has its own way of teaching. Often they have projects and presentations more than just frontal teaching. If it wasn't the time where we had to separate more often because of Corona, the school would have had musicals, dancing hours, public baking sales for endangered species, and far more. As an illustration, the kids not only learned something about energy production in a specific country, but they also started to present the topic in groups. Digital learning skills. As a private school, they had a lot of different ways to teach. The most important was that the kids all had their own laptops. I was teaching with my tablet, projecting on a screen on which I could switch in the different folders of the kids. Individual support. Not to mention that the class size are far from those I know in public schools. While I teach almost 24 kids and 2 grades mixed, the class size in the international school I was indeed should be normal. Depending on the circumstances, the classes varied between 8 to 16 kids, mostly accompanied by at least 2 teachers. With this in mind, it's realizable that supporting every kid in its individual involvement is reachable. As a result, it's clear that education has another meaning when there are enough teachers for helping, assisting, encouraging, and subsidizing the class. International school. Thinking beyond the obvious. In the center was always the learning process and the education of the kids. Above all, this school understood the difficulties of the Corona situation by reacting immediately. I don't want to say that public schools overslept the importance of school and learning during this time, but having the 2 educational institutes compared, I can't comprehend why we didn't reach the branch on the tree. To put it another way, as we struggled reaching the kids online and helping them to learn and assist the parents, this public school, and especially the teachers, came up with programs and tools which they explained the kids before the school was closed. Equally important are the devices that the kids already had and know how to use. Seeing the international school teaching the kids how to code, to create their own posters online, to use digital tools for their learning process, and having a learning portfolio on their laptop was the moment I realized these kids will make it in the 21st century. They grow up not only consuming, but knowing how to use the internet and its main features for their learning process. Although this is true, one could reply that the internet and digital learning has a lot of dangerous factors. Again, this international school built up a system in which the kids not only learn to Google and filter information in the 1st grade, but also learn that links and passwords are important and how they can be used. After all, I am impressed that a few dozens of teachers can work as a team until they reach the point they really use what the digital century offers. Confidence and curiosity. From time to time, I learned that the international school isn't perfect. They have their problems and struggle as other schools do. Equally important for this very reason is how one deals with it. In that moment, I wasn't sure if it was only the school, but after asking the teachers about other private schools, they all agreed the focus they have isn't about what the kid does wrong and what it should learn. Especially that impressed me the most. The kid is already perfect, and there will be more success when just letting the kids evolve in the time and speed that their personality and character will. Exactly those ideas that I saw in this school gave me the feeling that sometimes public schools put too much pressure on the teacher, parents, and kids. The emotional part of learning, being excited, solving a self-invented problem rather than being judged about if you had done your homework, whether you did a task that wasn't in your interest, etc., is in my opinion what will start the inner motivation to learn. Finally, after those time in a private international school, I had so many new impressions, and I was unbelievably glad to see that school and learning can be implemented in different ways. My English. The days passed and my English skills improved from day one. Although everything was new and excited, I had difficulties finding the words, as I never before gave lessons in English and was normally used to teaching kids in kindergarten age. The more I involved myself in the lessons and discussions with the kids, the better I spoke fluently. Being a teacher and knowing to speak like you are still in school by yourself, because it isn't my first language, is sometimes putting down my self-esteem. My whole school time, I was used to not be good at learning languages. It was my opinion built on the feedbacks of others, mostly teachers. They had the picture of their students speaking perfectly, yet are capable of overcoming the feeling not being perfect. Summed up, in that school, I learned to accept that I and the kids will never be how society thinks perfect should be. Perfect means that you are how you are. And if that means you have difficulties thinking 3D, calculating, or using your social skills, that's perfectly good. And you don't have to change. You just can be motivated to learn and solve things more than adjust in a shape someone other wants you to. That means we teachers have more than ever a purpose to not stress and push the kids to be how others want them. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to know more, subscribe to my channel. In the future, I will be posting videos in German and English. Take care and keep learning.